I honestly can't believe my small business is 5 years old. When the pandemic happened, it nearly wiped us out, and we almost didn't even make it to our first birthday. But nevertheless, we pushed through, we persevered, and just like that, we have been in business for 5 years, and it's been the craziest journey of my life. This video is sponsored by Shopify. Hey friends, my name's Caitlin, and I own Street Brew Coffee, a specialty craft coffee company that sells freshly roasted coffee and caters special events and farmers markets with my coffee trailer. I also teach people how to make better coffee in an affordable fashion on my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts. In October of 2024, my small business turned 5 years old, which is an incredibly huge milestone that I am very proud of. But it has been one heck of a wild ride, and today I want to share 5 key lessons I've learned in 5 years of running Street Brew Coffee. Lesson 1, you have to be able to pivot. I mentioned in the intro that the pandemic nearly wiped out my business before we even had a chance to start. We had our business plan and we're committed to it, but the pandemic completely blindsided us, wiped out our business model, and forced us to change all of our plans in a hurry. It was extremely hard to navigate and a really scary time for us, but because we were able and willing to pivot from our original business model, it ended up being the best thing for us in the long run. Typically, when you start your small business, you set a plan in place with an end goal that you want to reach and different markers of success along the way. You kind of make up in your mind that absolutely nothing is going to stop you from reaching your end goal. It's this feast or famine mindset of utter determination that we're taught that makes us successful as a small business owner. Unfortunately, running your own small business is rarely always sunshine and rainbows, and things are going to come up to knock you off your path, and you have to be willing and able to change to reach that next level. The word pivot is often considered a bad word for a lot of small business owners because it can be a really scary thing. But I promise it's not always a bad thing. It's simply about adjusting your perspective to see what other options are out there, what other avenues you can explore to take your small business to the next level. At Street Brew Coffee, we had to fundamentally change our business plan from selling in-person at events to selling online and eventually into selling and marketing through content creation. When the pandemic happened, it shut down all in-person events, which means we lost our revenue because we didn't have a direct line to our audience. Because we were willing to pivot, my business is stronger and better than ever. If we weren't willing to pivot, we would have had to shut down our business before we even turned 2. So while I'm not thankful for the pandemic and what happened, I am thankful for the lessons it taught me and the fact that it forced us to pivot and make big, pivotal changes that kept my business running and sustainable. Lesson 2, consistency is key. Running a small business is a marathon, definitely not a sprint. But I am wholeheartedly convinced that the only way you lose in the long run is if you stop trying and stop showing up. The absolute most important thing you can do for your business is show up day in and day out every single day, especially on the days you don't feel like it. This is going to be a little bit of a hard pill to swallow, but your small business is probably not going to blow up on day 1 or day 100 or day 500. But maybe it'll blow up on day 2000. But if you had thrown in the towel on day 1 because your small business didn't blow up right away, you would have missed out on the big day. That's what running a small business is really all about. It's about showing up every single day, especially on the days when nothing is happening, and getting 1% better every single day. Those little incremental changes that don't look like much in the moment, but then you turn around and on day 2000, you're like, holy crap, look at all the progress we made. Day 1, it's not going to look like much, but if you show up every single day and you're uber consistent to the point where it is a pain in the butt, consistency always wins, and you will see the progress in the long run. I know this may sound cliche, but I've found in the last 5 years running my business, the days that I didn't want to show up, the events that I didn't want to go to with my business, ended up being some of the best, most pivotal events where I needed to be at. Those were the events where either it was an amazing sales day that my small business really needed, or I met somebody that was going to be very important for my journey later down the road. Regardless of the results, regardless of how you feel, and regardless of what anybody else says, you have to keep showing up and being consistent. You absolutely don't have to be the most talented person, but you do have to show up and you do have to put in the work. And you will outwork your competition if you consistently show up. Lesson number 3, you need the right tools. This may go without saying, but you absolutely can't succeed in business if you don't have the right tools to help you along the way. When we had to pivot from selling in person to selling online, we needed an online storefront we could trust, and we chose Shopify, who is the sponsor of today's video. Shopify has hands down been one of the best tools we have added to our arsenal to help us grow our small business. Shopify is a commerce platform that makes it easy to start, grow, and manage your small business. I've been using them for almost 4 years now, and having an easy to easy-to-use commerce platform that I can trust to handle all the ebbs and flows of running a small business has been such a peace of mind. As soon as we switched over, we saw our small business grow, and they've been there every step of the way to help us manage and grow our small business. Shopify reduces the complexity of starting a business with a simple drag and drop store editor, easy to use marketing tools, and a back office that oversees all of your operations. Their mission is to reduce the barrier to business ownership and make commerce better for everyone, and that sounds awesome to me. One of the things that I love most is the Shopify POS system, which allows you to extend your sales into the real world. We use this weekly at our coffee pop-ups. So if you're ready to start a business or take your business to the next level, I highly suggest going to shopify.com/Caitlin Campbell and starting a free trial, or click the top link in the description. Lesson number 4, make sure you find a mentor. If you're out there looking to either start a small business or running one right now, listen to me when I say this, do not do this journey alone. It's a lot, and having a good mentor can be a game changer for your small business journey. If at all possible, find a mentor who is 10 or even 15 years ahead of you, who is on the path that you're on, so they can help guide you away from any potential pitfalls and share any costly mistakes they've made so you can hopefully avoid them. I'm very blessed. I get to run my small business alongside my dad, who previously ran his own business for 40 years before we started our coffee company. Now, I don't always like to listen to what he has to say. Sometimes I like to give him a hard time and pretend I know all the answers. But he has that wisdom that comes from years of experience that I simply don't have. So many of the things that we've had to overcome at Street Brew, he already had to overcome in his previous business. So he's been able to guide me and keep me away from some very costly mistakes and teach me how to do things properly to set me up for a successful business in the long run. Having a mentor or a partner makes running a small business a lot less scary. I know I have his support, his wisdom, and a sounding board for my own ideas when I need to talk things out to figure out the best way forward. Running a small business is really hard, so make sure you have the support, and I think one of the best ways to do that is by finding a good, trustworthy mentor, and make sure you're willing to listen to their advice, especially if there's someone who's already been down the path that you're trying to go down. Lesson 5, stay small enough, long enough. This one might be a little bit controversial, but it's okay to not be in a rush to scale your business. If you like where your small business is at and it's making enough money to support you and make you happy, then it's okay to stay there and hang out for a little bit. There's no reason to scale too quickly or to take on debt to try to grow and impress people that probably don't really even care. In today's world with social media and podcasts, it's really easy to get wowed by small businesses and entrepreneurs who scale their businesses to 7+ figures in 2 years or less and immediately want to copy that. But personally, I think it can be a trap more often than a good thing. There's a reason these success stories get so much attention and go viral, and it's because they're really rare. In fact, one of the #1 ways to tank your business is to grow too quickly before you're ready. Last year, my small business had a truly viral moment that blew up our sales. Overnight, we 10x'd our sales out of nowhere, but we quickly found out that we didn't have the infrastructure or the systems in place to handle this influx of business, and it was a really scary and stressful period of time. Thankfully, we were able to pull together and weather the storm and come out on the other side relatively unscathed, but it was a really good lesson on why blowing up or growing too quickly is not always the best plan. I'm definitely not upset about the viral moment. It was fantastic, and the sales boost was very much appreciated for my small business, but it definitely taught me that you have to have the right systems in place, and you have to be patient. Growing too quickly could be a very, very bad thing. My small business has been offered a handful of different avenues for expansion over the last 5 years, and so far we've turned every single one of them down. Not because they weren't great opportunities, but because we wanted to grow at our own pace and focus on the little details and making sure we got everything right. I personally really like where my small business is at right now and the pace that it's growing at. I don't need to take a big risk that may cause things to crumble around me, but that's just my 2 cents. Anyways, I gotta get back to work to make sure my small business can turn 6 later this year. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and maybe you learned something that you can apply to your small business. If you guys did like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and of course hit that subscribe button because we're back on YouTube with all kinds of long form entrepreneurship, small business, and coffee related content. Huge thank you to Shopify for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check out that link in my bio and good luck to you on your small business journey. Thanks for watching, my friends.